It's likely your biggest investment in your lifetime, but imagine building your dream home in the new Braunfels area and you discover it's littered with problems. Problems local builders here are overlooking. Problems that could turn your new build dream into a nightmare. But that's exactly what's happening to a number of our buyers here in the new Braunfels area. So today's video, we are laser focused on the one little extra step you need to take to avoid these problems before you close on your new build home in the new Braunfels area. Guys, let me know your experience. If you are building a new house in the new Braunfels area, let me know in the comment section below. And if you are new here to my channel, thank you so much for hopping on, because every week we're putting out new videos like this one about what it's like to live in New Braunfels. New home build problems for buyers in the new Braunfels area. Take a look at this house. Huge defects during the frame walk stage before the walls get covered up. So, for peace of mind, the buyers decided to order a re-inspection on the frame before insulation and drywall. To their surprise, most of the deficiencies from the first inspection were not corrected.
It's just disappointed that so many deficiencies were not corrected, and that kind of goes now. Now I do have justification for not trusting. You know, I think we trust people initially. And their performance and deeds will determine, you know, the trust bank account. So there's no real money in their trust bank account, if you will.
So we reached out to the builder to address these problems, and we simply asked, hey, why weren't these problems taken care of after the first inspection? The builder admitted to us that likely their construction manager never walked the house to make sure these items were corrected before the re-inspection.
He relied on the framer saying, hey, I got it done, and then he didn't know it wasn't finished. So my manager extends his apologies for the whole situation. He's like, it's not acceptable, not okay.
A couple from California say they know the feeling all too well, with their house shaping up nicely on the outside, but a list of problems on the inside discovered during their final inspection. So the buyers also decided to order a re-inspection to make sure that the builder buttoned up all the items that should have been corrected before their first inspection.
Why not just trust the builder? The builder has their own inspector, their frame inspector. Why not just lean on the builder and not spend that extra money on a re-inspect?
Well, if you could, I mean, not to say the builders are untrustworthy, but I think it's just far too easy with the volume of work that they have and all the number of projects that they have going at the same time. It's just too easy for them to overlook things or maybe skip over something, to conveniently perhaps forget something, and then omit the correction altogether. So this is a way, you know, you'd never know for sure. You're just taking them at their word. This is a way to give yourself peace of mind when you hire the inspector to come back to do a follow-up re-inspection. You have the peace of mind of knowing what actually was completed versus what was not.
Re-inspections. Not many new home buyers do these, but as you're just hearing right now, it's a critical step you at least need to consider. I think it's a needed step. A re-inspection at the pre-drywall stage or at your final walk stage can prevent problems from popping up after you close on the house and after you move in.
Do you feel that your re-inspection helped toward not only just the closing of your house, of your new build here in New Braunfels, but toward the quality closing?
Yes, absolutely. I think it did, because you know, prior to having the inspection, then followed up by the re-inspection, it seemed like we were just not really getting too far with everything. It seemed that the words that were given of promising and assuring us that one thing would happen or another thing would happen, when it was just spoken, it just didn't seem to happen. But once we started putting things in writing, this is a key point, I think, and having them respond in writing, it seems like that's when things really started to get done. And I think it's because it gave us all this common ground and this clarity of what we were focusing on, the same thing.
New Braunfels Builders and former builders we spoke with say buyers are just wasting their money on these inspections and re-inspections, especially if they're building within the city limits, where New Braunfels has its own team of inspectors inspecting your home at different stages.
Yeah, as long as you're dealing with the city, they're so uptight about everything. It's they call us out for tape in the wrong spot. You know, I mean, it's so thorough that they're gonna call out whatever they can when they see it. So they won't even let us pass it until that frame is perfect. So they're beyond thorough, which is a headache for us, but also good for the buyer.
Do you think a ReInspect, from a former builder rep standpoint, is a good idea? If so, why? If not, why?
I think it's a total waste of money. Because when it's in the city has its own specs to frame to.
What assurance is there for a buyer that all of those items on the initial frame walk inspection, the third party, are finished or have been corrected? What kind of assurance do you guys offer your buyers?
They could take pictures, to show that the items are complete. But the house is built and inspected by city of New Braunfels. Then they're sticklers, man. The city of New Braunfels are very difficult on these guys. They never pass their inspection the first time.
But buyer-hired third-party inspectors say that relying on only a city inspection is not good enough.
We're looking at way more items than the city does. You know what I mean? Because the city's really concerned about, they're going to come out and permit the foundation, but they don't really look at framing. You know what I mean? They're not going to check everything we check at framing.
The support, for example, framing support.
What's that?
For example, framing support.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And, are all the beams going, all the beams correctly supported? Are, the jack studs, the cripples, everything like that installed correctly? That kind of stuff. They're looking basically at, your footers and headers and, kind of things like that. We go even further.
Whether you choose to order an inspection or reinspection, guys, is entirely up to you. But I'm strongly encouraging it for all of our buyers moving forward, especially after I started noticing so many flaws and deficiencies at the end of 2021. So the reinspection is a way to keep all parties accountable and to make sure, most importantly, that the builder is correcting the items that need to be corrected before we close on the house. The fact is, guys, that in our area, subcontractors are spread very thin because builders continue to build despite the higher interest rates because they need product on the ground for 2023. And when you have more homes being built in a market that's not flush with subcontractors, problems are going to pop up.
The majority of the stuff is not corrected from the initial frame walk. I mean, that's just after you go through all these steps and ask the builder and defer to the builder, hey, when are you guys going to be ready? So you button up all your stuff. We don't want to rush you so we can come and confirm all this stuff. We get there, none of it's corrected.
I can tell you that happens at minimum 50% of the time.
What about you guys? What's your take on this? What's your take on your new build experience in the New Braunfels area? I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below, but please, whatever you do not single out just one builder, guys. We're building with several different builders, and new build problems are not exclusive to just one builder. They're happening across the board, from your track builders all the way up to your custom home builders. Let me know also, does this video help you out? And let me know if I can help you out with your new build experience if you're moving to New Braunfels or you're buying a resale home in the New Braunfels area. I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can email me, you can call me, or you can shoot me a text. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.